Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, MyWN, and this is your NXT review for December the 28th, 2022. I got a lot of things going on right now. I haven't started my AEW Dynamite thumbnail yet, but I gotta, right away after my NXT review, I gotta get started on it, and then I'm gonna do my background for my AEW Dynamite watch-along. My AEW Dynamite watch-along will be live as scheduled tonight. And I got to have my back door open because somebody, I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to explain it at the end after I give you guys your AEW NXT or WWE AEW Wednesday afternoon news. We got plenty of WWE and AEW Wednesday afternoon news to go over. So, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for all notifications. As you can see, I tried to get out what I'm going to say. Sometimes I don't say it right. So excuse me. But subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the thumbs up. Let's get a lot of likes on the stream, minimum, for today's NXT review. And I really appreciate you guys for tuning in, because I know some of you guys want to know my thoughts on NXT and the matches that took place on NXT. I do have some NXT news that we're going to go over as well. I do have some news on Shawn Michaels. We're going to go over that. And plus, I have some news on Toxic Attraction as well. And also, I also have some news on Bobby Lashley, news on Sasha Banks and MJF, and Gunther and plenty more. So, I'm not going to waste anybody's time here. We're going to go ahead and get to the review right away, because I want to get this over with as quick as possible, so I can go over your WWE and AEW Wednesday night news. So that way I can tell you guys what happened. And what my mom found under our storage building. Because right now it's very alarming, it's very serious, and it's raising some red flags. I don't know who had the audacity to do something like that, but Obviously, it's not good. It's not good. What I have to tell you guys after I give you guys your WWE and AEW Wednesday night news is not going to sound good. It's going to have some of you guys pissed off, and it's going to make you want to come over and kill that person so bad for doing that. For real. Where I'm living at, it's not a good neighborhood. It used to be. It's not the same anymore. There's been a lot of strangers walking around the neighborhood, people I've never seen before. If anything, I hope to God we move out of here sooner rather than later, because I'm tired of living here. I'm tired of living here with neighbors that I don't trust, with neighbors that are out here breaking into people's houses, disposing evidence and shit, throwing human remains in people's yards and shit. You know, it is no. We gotta move out of here, man. This neighborhood is bad. There's too many bad, negative people around here that's doing negative things that they shouldn't be doing. And it's not good. And I'm going to go over that again after I give you guys your WWE and AEW Wednesday night news. But first, we're going to review NXT. And if you guys haven't followed me on Instagram, please do so. You can add me on Facebook. And you can add me on Snapchat as well. The links to my Facebook and Instagram account are in the description below. Again, the links to both of my accounts are in the description below, as well as my Snapchat name. I always have my accounts in the description below. That way you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. That is where I post my YouTube thumbnails and content and post when I'm, live with my watch-alongs and reviews. I can't even talk right this week, man. I don't know what's wrong with me this week, man. I feel kind of mental a little bit for some reason. I don't know why. But anyways, guys, we're going to get on with the NXT review. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. Let's get some more people in here, too. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. I am on the road to 600 subscribers. We are currently at 529. If we can get to 600 subscribers, I may stream a game that you guys have never seen me stream before. I'm going to do something special regardless when I get to 600 subscribers. Our goal is 600 subscribers, guys. I'm telling you, if we can do that, man, I'm going to do something special on the channel for you guys. I'm serious. So, anyways, enough talk. Let's get on with the NXT review for real. So NXT started off with JD McDonagh versus Julius Creed, with Brutus Creed at ringside. So this NXT review is going to be quicker. It's going to be so quick that you guys are going to be like, dang, he's already done. But NXT kicks off with JD McDonagh versus Julius Creed. So Julius Creed exercised one of his past demons by overcoming JD McDonagh, finishing it up with a rolling shoulder slam and a running low clothesline. So Indus Sher agreed to a match at NXT New Year's Evil. Now, it was a solid start to the show. The Necessary Evil guided Julius to one of his strongest singles performances to date, ending in a definitive win for the future. Now, it was a little surprising to see someone who is still a tag team guy first defeat one of NXT's top heels with limited fanfare. NXT is clearly behind the Creed brothers. I can see it because I watch NXT almost every week now. I clearly see that NXT are behind Creed brothers. I can, like literally. And especially Julius. as a future top guy. There was news. I seen news floating around on Julius Creed possibly being called up to the main roster. Don't be surprised if that soon happens for Julius Creed. Now, assumably, Indus Shield will defeat the Creed brothers to send the brothers to the main roster or push Julius and Brutus to work more as single stars. Shanga and Veer Mahan have a chance to prove their value, not just in NXT, but for a quick main roster jump. So we got Cora Jade versus Wendy Choo. Cora Jade talked too much trash and let Wendy Choo pick up a win with a full Nelson slam and Vader bomb. This was the second surprise result of the night. Jade has been a priority in NXT for a while, especially since her heel turn. So Choo picking up a win over her means a lot. The action was solid. The match lacked drama. The two were focused on hitting their spots to sell the moment of Choo picking up her victory. This is an area where both can still improve with training. And I hope to God they give Karen Q her ring name back. Karen Q is her ring name. Karen Q. They need to give Wendy Choo's ring name Karen Q back, because that Wendy Choo name is not doing any good for her. It sounds cringe to me. It really does. They need to change her name back. It sounds like a 9-year-old kid's name. It really does. Now, moving on with Scripps versus Ikumen Jiro. So, Ikumen Jiro fought with motivated aggression to get back at Scripps, taking his jacket. Scripps caught him with a diving somersault, seated senton to win. Now, Scripps' gimmick is a poorly conceived enigma, but he is still a talent to watch. He is far more complete performer than he was when he arrived in WWE. That showed in this engaging spirit. I don't know. I really don't understand why they would give him this gimmick. This gimmick doesn't even look good for him. They should have gave him a more better gimmick in NXT, I think, to be honest. And he is still wearing the same attire that he wore for the last 2 weeks. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've seen and noticed a lot of talent wear the same attires every week. Am I the only one that's noticing that? Please, somebody in the live chat, tell me I'm the only one that's noticing this. Anybody? Is anybody noticing this too? Just tell me. But regardless, man, regardless of the Reggie script gimmick, this was a pretty decent match for both Jiro and Reggie. You know, Scripps did improve ring gear. You know, you can't give a final judgment for it because it's just, I guess, better than whatever crap he wore when he. But let's see if this grows on anybody in the wrestling community. It's not quite yet, but it might be getting there. What stands out as a negative now in his gear is those volume-looking flip-flops. Those flaps on his. It also might have been probably one of the longest I've seen Scripps wrestle, because when he was on Raw, of his matches were like under a minute, basically. You know what I'm saying? So it all no selling. Ended up like a roll-up, I guess, so to speak. Now, Script did well, and if he can tighten up his offense in longer matches, he might have the potential to be the new John Morrison. Maybe. There's that possibility. It may be possible. We don't know that yet. We'll find out sooner or later. Now, Jiro surprised some people. It was refreshing to see him wrestle more of a stiff style and not try to interrogate his jacket offense all over the place. Maybe he shot the whole jacket gimmick and just rely on his natural charisma. Alba Frey promo video aired. She talked about how she is stronger despite getting misted and her hand broken. She said her ancestors are stronger than Dawn's spirits. She hyped up taking down Dawn next week. Now, Lash Legend was already in the ring. Lyra Valkyrie got a televised entrance. Her entrance was improved because they allowed the fog and video wall to give a cool, rainy ambience. Sadly, they decided to do that horrible rain Instagram filter when she posed in the ring. So we got Lyra Valkyrie versus Lash Legend. Lash woman handled Lyra around the ring using her power. Lash hit Lyra with an L drop to the back. Lyra recovered and took down Lash with an arm drag. Lyra hit Lash with a wrecking ball drop kick. Lash slammed Lyra onto the apron. Lash gave Lyra a chop to the chest. Lyra tried to rally back, but Lash hit her with a back breaker. Lash missed a cartwheel into a moonsault. Lyra came back with kicks and flying lariats. Lyra hit Lash with a tornado DDT and a reverse roundhouse. Lyra did her pose on the top rope and hit Lash with a splash for the win. That was pretty much it. Now, it was a decent showcase for Lyra. I'm pretty sure some of you people that are NXT fans that watch NXT, pretty sure you were probably afraid seeing terrible Lash Legend back in the ring. Yes, Lash Legend is absolutely terrible in the ring. I'm not a huge fan of Legend at all. She has not gotten any better since NXT debut. But they kept her off TV enough. Hopefully, she's been getting training while on TV. I don't think she has, to be honest. I don't think she has been. I really don't. Lash Legend is somebody that nobody wants to see on television. She reminds me of Lacey Evans. Oh, my God. You guys know how terrible Lacey Evans is in the ring. She is god-awful. Really. The same thing I say about Sonny Kiss, Lee Bates, and Emi Sakura over on AEW. She defiantly had her, I guess, best match in WWE. Huh, maybe. Psych, no. She didn't have her best match in WWE. She's terrible, man. Seriously. Now, she is good at talking trash. That is one thing she's good at. That's the one thing. That's the one and only thing she's good at. She needs to do more of that to be. Lyra, I guess she looked good. Given that she was Aoife Valkyrie back in NXT UK, she was one of my favorite NXT UK female talents. She still is, and she will always be. She looked good. She has a good look, good gimmick, smooth fundamentals. Two things that we need here. Number one, get rid of that fucking crappy rain Instagram filter. during the entrance. They got rid of most of it. But number two, they felt the need to add it to her ring post. We've seen in the past via carrying that you just can do a lot with a frame rate filter and frog machine. Now, the second thing, for real, the first thing I said was that they need to get rid of it. They need to get rid of that fucking crappy rain Instagram filter. Now, the second thing is that finish didn't really look great at all. I will say that. And I'm not trying to say it in the negative way. I'm trying to say it in the positive way possible. I'm saying it in a way that I legitimately care. I shit on some of the shows because I care. If I see something that's garbage on TV, if I watch a show and it sucks, I'm going to call it out like I want to. I'm going to shit all over it because I care. Just like the SmackDown Women's Division, I'm going to shit all over it because I care. Now, by the way, what I was saying, it didn't really come off like she wanted to, as far as the finish goes. Now, some of you guys will agree with me when I say this, but I think it felt like she just fell off the top rope as opposed to leaping in the air. That's the way I fucking look at it. I don't know about you guys. That's the way I looked at it, man. So, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane were sitting in their VIP lounge area backstage. They talked about how they had a good 2022. JC talked about how they are still the attraction of NXT. Gigi said people keep writing them off, but they've reached superstardom. JC said they will rebuild, reconstruct, and return to glory. Now, Jane said they need to take down the women who took down their empire. Roxanne Perez. The guys have made their entrance for the next match. We got Vince Joseph and Booker T. We all know these two are terrible on commentary. I don't like listening to Booker T or Vince Joseph. Vince Joseph sounds worse than Booker T on commentary. And we all know that Booker T has the most god-awful, dog-shitting takes and opinions on this podcast every week. I've been saying this for months. His takes are still not good. His takes and opinions need to improve. They're not good. His grammar's not good either. Vince Joseph and Booker T checked in from the commentary table where Vince hyped up Vengeance Day. So Vince sent the show to Mackenzie Mitchell and Braun Breaker backstage. Mackenzie reminded Breaker about the Kevlar vest segment last week. Breaker said he fell for Waller's trap, but he's better now. He said he will call out Waller in the ring. Mackenzie said Waller wasn't here, but he left a video message. So then they cut to Waller's video where Waller talks about how he's getting ready in Sydney, Australia now, his home. He said there isn't a better view in the world. Waller talked about how great the Sydney Opera House was too. They then cut to him at the beach. Waller talked about training with some of the great Australian athletes. He said he's taking the title, should I say, back to Australia. Waller said he'll be back in America next Tuesday to sign the contract on his Waller Effect talk show. Now, Braun Breaker picked up the TV. He was watching the segment and slammed it to the ground. This was some great stuff from Waller, a very unique way to cut and execute a taunt promo. Waller, in particular, has proven that he's main roster ready in terms of both in-ring and developing and delivering promos. This was good stuff right here. This was not that bad at all. Okay. Breaker has also really grown in his last feud. He's talking in his natural voice. He's also getting more involved in the story too, as opposed to treating his opponents as of the week. Now, it was hour 2 of NXT last night, and the babyface trio of the next match made their entrance. The Schism, Joe Gacy, Jagger Reed, and Rip Fowler with Ava Rain versus Idris Enofé, Malik Blade, and Odyssey Jones. This was a 6-man tag team match where we saw Blade rolling up Gacy early on. Raid tagged in and Blade hit him with quick strikes. Enofé tagged in and was to the heel corner. Fowler tagged in, took down Enofé with a lariat. Fowler worked on Enofé with methodical offense and pin attempts. Enofé caught Fowler with a drop kick after running the ropes. So then Odyssey tagged in, hit Fowler with a shoulder strike. So then Jones hit Fowler with a cannonball senton. Blade tagged in and did a splash off the shoulders of Jones. All 6 men faced off in the center of the ring, heading into regular. We came back from commercial break. Fowler was working on Blade with methodical offense. Ava Rain walked up to Booker T and told him to stare at her shirt. She said this represents the way of life. 4 roots, 1 tree. Booker looked confused. I guess Booker T is just wondering what Papa Robert's chest. I mean, I'm just joking, y'all. I'm messing around. Blade managed around to Odyssey Jones for the hot tag. Jones hit Reed and Fowler with corners, tackles, like a bowling ball, so to speak. Enofé hit Raid with a top robo. Gacy broke up the pin. Jones shrugged off about, I'd say, 6 or 7 suicides from all the Schism members. Finally, Gacy took him to the ground. Blade took him. Flower, or should I say Flower? Or Flawler. Man, I've been getting his name right the last 3 times. And now, up until this point, now I'm ending up getting his name wrong. What made me get his name wrong, I don't even know, man. It's kind of hilarious. He took down Fowler with a dive, bladed. And then Enofé hit Reed with a springboard knee. Gagged in and put Enofé in a electric chair hold. Fowler put Blade in an electric chair hold. Fowler hit Enofé and Blade with a double doomsday device. The D hit Enofé a double cold breaker. Gacy hit Enofé with a handstand lariat to give him the win. And that was it for that one. James and Fallon Henley were shown heading to the ring from different parts of the performance center. So, about this 6-man tag team match, honestly, it wasn't bad. It was a solid tag team match for what it was. Now, we did see a nice bounce back for the Schism that has people looking forward to them wrestle down the road. We might possibly get Schism versus the New Day. Not sure. That could be the New Day's next feud in NXT since they're staying with NXT as NXT Tag Team Champions. I mean, they are the current NXT Tag Team Champions right now, and Kofi Kingston will still be in the 2023 Royal Rumble. My guess is that Kofi Kingston being in 2023 Royal Rumble could mean we could see some NXT female and in the Royal Rumble as well. Don't be surprised who comes out on that. Now, Odyssey Jones had his best showing in WWE to date. So far, anyway. For now, he has. He didn't have to be relied up to carry out a long match. But his fire looked amazing. I could see him being the next Mark Henry in WWE, to be honest. That's just me. Him shrugging off the was a fun spot, and he was good in his hot tag sequence. He's also the next Big E in WWE, in my opinion, as well. They might consider putting him in a tag team to take advantage of this great hot tag ability. He definitely has the potential to be a singles main eventer if he develops right. Now, the finishing sequence by the Schism was cool to see. You know, very, very nice tandem offense, if you will. That's what I'm trying to say. Very, very nice tandem offense, man. You know what? If Schism keeps working like this, well, the people could generally win over this. You never know, man. Excellent, excellent, excellent tag team match. And an excellent triple team offense rarely seen in WWE. That's all I got to say to that. Now, Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. She noted Trick is facing Exam next week, while Hayes is facing Cruz. Trick said he's going to send Exam straight to Comic-Con with a knee. Melo said Cruz is standing in his way, and Cruz can either get out of the way or get moved out of the way. Melo said the next NXT champion is not Apollo, but Melo. Interested for the Battle of the Bar. The Battle for the Bar took place. Booker T said that Kiana James is the epitome of being a haughty biscuity. I'm not sure why he said that, but we got Fallon Henley with Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen. That's what I meant to say. Brooks Jensen. We got Fallon Henley with Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, ringside versus Kiana James for Henley's Family Bar. James worked on Henley with Aikido wrist slams. Henley came back with wrist slams of her own. Henley took down James with a running shove, atomic drop, and reverse drop kick. James blocked the baseball slide punch with the ring apron. Now, Henley punched her right away after James peeked over the apron. James blended Henley with a flapjack. James tackled Henley. It worked on her with a methodical offense. Booger talked about how she thinks that James is trying to make Henley's bar less divey and trashy. Now, Booger also talked about how James could improve the quality of life in the town by drawing better residents. Henley rallied back with a series of right-hand strikes. Henley hit James with a tornado facebuster. Jensen continued to act conflicted with Briggs, calling him out on it. James hit Henley with a single-handed gut buster for a 2 count. Henley blocked the 401k with a drop kick to the knee. Henley hit James with a Shining Wizard for the win. Shining Wizard, it's Tegan Nox's finisher. Why are they giving Henley Tegan Nox's finisher? The fuck? I don't understand that. The replay showed that Brooks Jensen didn't look pleased at Henley hitting James with a Shining Wizard. This was a good match. Well, I think this is a heel turn for Brooks Jensen because the way they're saying that he didn't like Henley hitting James with a Chinese Wizard, it looks like it's signifying a heel turn. It looks like Brooks Jensen is going to turn on what's his freaking name? It looks like he's going to turn on Josh Briggs and Fallon Henley. We could be seeing the breakup of Henley, Josh Briggs, and Brooks. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. Now, this match was good while it lasted, at least. Hopefully, both women will more than likely run this back down the road with about, I'd say, 5 more matches. Or should I say 5 minutes? Because I think both women can tell a better story with longer time. Now, Henley has been a workhorse of the division, and James has become a breakout star with her consistent improvement. And her wonderful showcase at the Iron Survivor match, the former Tyler Breeze student is a great athlete and wrestler. If only she didn't have the businesswoman from Razor's gimmick. Maybe. I don't know. But as much as this whole bar story is fabricated and bad, Brooks Jensen was good at ringside during the match. Now, I am kind of intrigued a bit of Brooks Jensen being torn between his friend and his crush. The show cut to Mackenzie Mitchell interviewing NXT Women's Champion Roxanne. Perez said it still feels like a dream, but the honeymoon phase is going to end. She said just as quick as she won the title. She can lose it anytime. Harris said most of the women in the locker room are future Hall of Famers. She's not there yet. She said she's going to fight and do her best to defend the championship. Drew Gulak Invitational was hyped for after the break. A Isla Dawn promo vignette aired last night. She was making more poison and talking about how she's trying to draw the evil out of Frey. She said becoming evil will be good for Frey. Now, first of all, I got a question rather. Malachi Black teach Isla Dawn how to make evil corruption poison mist. I got to question that. Like, really? Now, while they were dating at the time of a few years ago, yes, Malachi Black and Isla Dawn used to date. A few years ago, Malachi Black, Tommy N, was the wrestling trainer for Isla Dawn, which they referenced in NXT UK. I don't know if you guys knew that. Well, if you didn't know, now you know. Now, hopefully, Dawn's poison doesn't take a year to kick in. Drew Gulak and Hank Walker were in the ring with 3 unnamed indie wrestlers. Gulak had a headset mic. Gulak talked about teaching a lesson. He asked Hank to watch. Gulak called Luke over, who shook Gulak's hand. Gulak demonstrated a chicken wing on Luca and thanked Luca for the help. Gulak talked about how important it was to let go of the hold after the tag. Gulak trained with Tavion, the amateur wrestler. Both men had an amateur inhabitation, should I say. Gulak dominated with an octopus guard and heel hook to get the tag. The third man was NXT Level Up's Miles Bourne. Yes, folks, Miles Bourne. I've never heard of that name. I'm pretty sure you never heard of that either. Both men traded lockups. Bourne managed to slam Gulak to the mat. Gulak got up, put Barn in a dragon sleeper for the tap out. Gulak wouldn't let go of the hold, and Hank had to get Gulak off of Bourne. While Gulak was coaching Hank, Charlie Dempsey, son of William Ringo, made his entrance with a mic. Dempsey said if Gulak wants to step up to a wrestler, he can give Gulak a run for his money. Gulak noted that Dempsey wasn't invited. Hank played peacemaker. Dempsey proposed a match with Hank next week. Gulak agreed on Hank's behalf and said that Hank would be ready. An ad aired for John Cena's WWE return this Friday on SmackDown. Vince Joseph hyped the following segments for next week: Grayson Waller's talk show with Braun Breaker as a guest. I was getting ready to say Bronson Reed. Alba Frey versus Isla Dawn in an extreme resolution match. Exam versus Trick Williams, and Carmelo Hayes versus Apollo Crews. Those are the matches booked for next week's episode of NXT. Entrances for the North American Championship match aired. Alicia Taylor handled the formal in-ring championship introductions. The match started with 10 minutes left at the top of the hour, within 8 minutes alluded for overrun. So we got Wes Lee versus Tony D'Angelo with Channing Lorenzo for the NXT North American Championship. Tony shoved down Lee in the initial collar and elbow lockups. Lee came back with palms to the gut. In my honest opinion, this was one of the two best matches on the show, and the other best match was Julius Creed versus JD McDonagh. Tony came back with a release belly to belly, followed by a British German suplex for a 2 count. Lee held on to the top rope to block a German suplex. Lee flipped over Tony, hit Tony with a drop kick. Lee did a handstand into a Hurricane Rana, sort of like similar to what Joe Gacy did, kind of, sort of. Now, Lee held on to the top rope to block a German suplex. Lee flipped over Tony, hit Tony with a drop kick. He did a handstand into a Hurricane Rana. Lee worked on Tony with boxing punches. He did that as if Wes Lee was in MMA, as if he has an MMA background. He does. I don't know. Maybe Wes Lee does have an MMA background. That we about. Stacks. John Creed told Tony to sweep that leg. He told Tony to sweep the leg. Tony went for a few chop blocks, but Lee used his shoulder to block it. He managed to escape a headlock, went at Wes with gut punches. Lee took Tony to ringside, hit him with a suicide heading into pitcher. Lee had Tony in a grounded headlock. Tony got up and shoved Lee to the mat. Tony put the boots and hands to Lee. Tony put Lee in a backbreaker stretch. Tony took down Lee with a short arm, lariat, and elbow for a 2 count. Tony dominated Lee with methodical strikes and holds. Now, Lee used right elbows to fight out of a deathlock. Tony D'Angelo came back with 2 suplexes to the knee. Tony hit Lee with hockey punches and gave Lee a front suplex on the announce table. Joseph noted that Tony might be targeting Lee's knee as revenge for taking out his knee. Booger also noted that it could handicap Lee's high flying. Lee reversed a fisherman suplex into a DDT. Both men slowly get to their feet. Lee gave Tony basement drop kick. He gave Tony basement drop kicks to the knee. Lee gave Tony a CQC combo and a back elbow. Lee continued to work on Tony with CQC. Tony blocked the 10 punches in the corner with a release powerbomb. Tony went to the top rope as Stacks was rallying Tony. Stacks was dragged to the back with Dijak showing up out of nowhere to put Stacks in a sleeper. Wes Lee took down Tony with a Gamingiri. That's what it's called. Lee hit Tony with a Mars attack kick for the win. That was pretty much it. Lee posed with the title to close the show. Now, this was a good match. It was one of the best matches on the show. And the other best match was Julius Creed versus JD McDonagh. I just said it. Just said it the first time earlier. It was a good match with intriguing interference from Dijak. This was Tony's first extended match back from his big injury. And he looks like he hasn't missed a beat. Despite having a little pro wrestling experience, this guy looks like a seasoned indie wrestler in the ring with how fast he's picked up, because becoming a pro wrestling brawler, basically. Yeah. The guy looked like a seasoned indie wrestler in the ring with how fast he's picking up, becoming a pro wrestling brawler, man. Absolutely. Yes. Now, some of you guys are probably hoping that they continue to use him in a singles capacity because his momentum was halted when Cole Carter was cut from the roster and Tony was hidden in tag team matches. I'm guessing for no reason, I should say. I mean, he's a singles competitor. He's not a tag team competitor. Why are they booking him? Why did they book him in tag team matches during that time? Makes me wonder. Dijak attacking the heel adds for good intrigue. It looked like Dijak was going to be a heel coming in, but he may end up being an outlaw tweener, which can work if done right. Now, this was a solid episode of NXT from beginning to end. Good matches throughout the show with good development of feuds. Now, honestly, how it feels like Raw and SmackDown are basically just coasting these days, you know. And NXT hasn't really, I guess, taken the foot off the gas in terms of pushing their programs and characters forward. Maybe Papa Paul should look at Uncle Sean's method of focusing on character development. I'm just questioning that. Should he? I mean, if those forces can combine, Raw and SmackDown can move up to a new level. I mean, someone make these fucking DX guys do a fusion dance, man. Like, really. Really, man. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for your NXT review. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. Let's get a lot of likes minimum on the stream. We're going to go ahead and go over the chats before I take a break. Oh, we're not finished yet, folks. We are not finished yet. Let's go over the chats, man. Let's go over the comments in the chat. Nathan Lovey says, I'm new here and I just like your videos. Thank you, Nathan. I really appreciate it. That's very, very nice of you to say. Very, very, very generous of you to say, man. RIN says, Dijak gave Channing, Stack, Lorenzo hard justice. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. RIN. He absolutely did, man. Defiantly. Did you like the Schism Lucha spot? Or Lucha. Did I like the Schism Lucha spot? I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it had a couple of ups and downs, but it was solid enough. I hope I answered your question. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go on a 2-minute break because I gotta come on here and give you guys your WWE Wednesday night news very, very quickly, real quick, so I can end the stream and get started on the AW Dynamite thumbnail and backgrounds for the AEW Dynamite watch along, because we're going to be live. We all are going to be live watching AEW Dynamite together. It's going to be a good night, man. And then, after my AEW Dynamite watch along, I'm going to be streaming Legendary Warriors Battle of G. Have you guys heard of that? Yes. That is one of the few, that was one of the many Dragon Ball games that I've downloaded from Google Chromebook. It's on Google Chromebook. So, that game is going to be streamed. Hopefully Restream will let me stream games on the website. If not, then, well, just have to start streaming games on the PS4. I still am going to be streaming games on the PS4. I'm going to be streaming Star Wars Racing this Sunday. And before that, I'll be streaming another brand new Dragon Ball game. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, give me a hell yeah in the live chat, man. I'm not just a wrestling fan, I'm a Dragon Ball fan too. I'm a Naruto fan as well. I love some Naruto. I love me some Dragon Ball, dude. I love me some Dragon Ball. Now, on that note, I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to go on break. When I come back, I'm going to give you guys your AEW Wednesday Night News, and then I'm going to tell y'all what happened. They're going to tell y'all this story that has me seriously concerned. It has me suspicious, and it's raising a lot of questions. It's raising red flags. So I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back from break. It's time for me to go over your WWE and AEW Wednesday night news. We'll start with your WWE Wednesday night news, and we're going to start it on Shawn Michaels. So get this. Shawn Michaels actually explained the television process and NXT. Now, those of you that don't know Shawn Michaels, the WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels has done a lot of business, in particular, both as a competitor and a backstage role in NXT. Michaels is viewed as a father figure in NXT, if you will. Now, as he helps shape the superstars of tomorrow for an eventual main roster call-up, Michaels also works closely with Triple H when it comes to producing NXT television every week. Now, it seems Michaels explained the whole TV process in NXT. Following Vince McMahon's retirement back in July of this year, Triple H took over as head of creative. On the other hand, Shawn Michaels took charge of everything that goes on in NXT, but that doesn't mean the game still isn't involved with NXT. Now, speaking on the Culture State podcast, the Heartbreak Kid finally explained the television creation process in NXT, revealing both his and Triple H's rules when it comes to shaping future generations of superstars. It says here, and I quote, this is what it says. It says here, and I quote from the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. From a weekly television standpoint, what we do on NXT is more or less my ballpark. And then he goes on to say that Hunter always checks in and knows who the people are. He obviously watches the show. He sees the people that appear to have problems in his sight and in ours as well. Then he continues on to say, I think he takes a mental note of who he sees and what he sees in them. And I'm sure he makes his crew aware of it as well. And then whenever those times come when they feel like they're ready for a call-up, they see a need that they might have, that's when they would give us a call. Shawn Michaels also reached that he will never wrestle again. Mike is fully invested in his current role in NXT. He wouldn't have it any other way. Fans are certainly eager to see what Michaels and Triple H have planned for fans next. What's y'all's take on what Shawn Michaels said? What's y'all's take on what Shawn Michaels said? Let me know. So apparently, WWE next updated version of the Road Warriors at WrestleMania 34. If you didn't know, now you know. Because it says here that John Raineyman worked as a writer for WWE and The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon on his Turnbuckles podcast. Raineyman said that the writing team wanted Cena to put a sign on Fallen's back that said, I want a match. McMahon would have seen the sign and booked the WrestleMania host in an impromptu in-ring encounter in a separate segment. He runs into Vince McMahon and there's a sign on the back. Raineyman said, reading a pitch he received from WWE's writing team. Now, he goes on to say, and I quote, he, McMahon's character, thinks it's a great idea. When Jimmy tries to back out of the match thinking it's not such a great idea, Vince McMahon can cut a passionate speech, firing Jimmy up and making him ready to believe in himself. End quote. And then the pitch went on to say that Jimmy Fallon could dress up in apparel that looks like another one of our legendary tag teams, the Road Warriors. Raineyman liked the idea and thought Fallon would go viral if he did the Hall of Fame tag team's finisher alongside Road Warrior Animal. He continues to say, my what if, as I used to do back then, was, what if you did the Doomsday device? I was like, if you could get up on the rope and clothesline a guy, that would go viral. It would be all over the place. And that's where we left it. And he didn't do it. Post WrestleMania, that was the last idea. Jimmy comes down as one of the Legion of Doom and does a high-flying move. End quote. Gacy carrying Fallon backstage after interrupting his opening monologue was another creative team initiative, so to speak. Braun Strowman would have hung the TV personality on a hook in his dressing room moments later before greeting everyone to a show himself, says Ringside News. The confrontation with 2 to 3 bad guys could have made Fallon tonight even worse. The New Day would have stepped in at that point to save the guest host. WrestleMania 39 will take place on April the 1st and 2nd, 2023 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. The 2-night event is set to feature a star-studded lineup due to its location. It remains to be seen whether Jimmy Fallon will be a part of the show, but it will likely be star-studded. What do you guys think of this story? Sound off the live chats, please. Please and thank you. Now, moving on to the next news. This one's on Triple H. It involves Great Muta and Shinsuke Nakamura. So apparently Triple H let Shinsuke Nakamura wrestle Great Muta after Vince McMahon rejected. It was announced back in October that Nakamura will square off against the Great Muta at the Noah New Year show on January 1st, 2023. Fans are very excited about this match, which is a dream match come true for many. While speaking to Yahoo Sports, Nakamura discussed the upcoming match with the Japanese legend. Nakamura revealed that Vince McMahon initially declined his request to face Muta, which Triple H approved once he became the head of WWE Creative. He says here, and I quote, "I was like, no way, I couldn't believe it. I didn't think it would happen. It was something that would never happen under the previous structure of the WWE. Noah came to me with the idea and we discussed it. But my answer was no. Vince McMahon, chairman and CEO of WWE, stepped down in the summer, and I was advised by people within the company that it may be possible now. I still thought it would be difficult, but I even talked directly to Triple H, WWE's vice president. When the decision was actually made, I was shaken. There was a big change in the WWE between when Muta announced his retirement and when the match was decided. Vince, who was the symbol of everything, was retiring, and that was something that no one could believe. Everything changes in America when the top changes. At that time, there was a feeling that many things would change in the future. One of the changes that occurred to me was this: the fact that no became yes, gave me a boost, says Nakamura. End quote. Triple H also reached out to Noah about the match. Vince McMahon rejecting the match was already a known fact, which Nakamura simply confirmed now regardless. To see how the match will turn out. What's y'all's take on what Nakamura said? Gunther breaks landmark as WWE Intercontinental Champion. Got some news on Gunther. Now, as of December 27th, guys, Gunther reached the 200-day mark as the Intercontinental Champion. Now, this is a great achievement for one of the best in-ring generals today across all professional wrestling. However, he put on the great matches with other WWE talent. This past September, at WWE Clash at the Castle, Gunther defeated Sheamus to retain the title in a critically acclaimed match. It was one of the best matches on that pay-per-view. I will never forget it. I seen it. My audience in the live chat for the Clash of the Castles watch along seen it too. I don't even think I went live with the Clash of the Castle Raw too long. I don't think. I don't think I remember. With many deeming it one of the best matches of 2022. It was. No question about it. It was. Dave Belzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter rated the match 5 stars, marking Gunther's 5th match to receive 5 stars in WWE and the first received for the main roster. Gunther also successfully defended the Intercontinental Championship against other opponents recently. Yes, I've seen all those matches he defended his Intercontinental Championship against. He defeated Rey Mysterio and Ricochet recently in solid matches on SmackDown in particular, in November and December, respectively. Now, currently, Gunther doesn't have an opponent lined up for the future, but there are rumors of a match between John Cena or Brock Lesnar down the road for WrestleMania 39. The sky is the limit for the leader of Imperium. Only time will tell how many more titles he picks up in WWE. My question to you guys is, do you think Gunther reaching the 200-day mark as Intercontinental Champion, what do you think? What do you think of Gunther reaching the 200-day mark as the Intercontinental Champion? Let me know in the live chats, please. Next, we have some news. We have a little bit of SmackDown news here. WWE tells talent to start traveling early for this week's SmackDown. This week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown will be emanating from the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. The show will be headlined by John Cena and Kevin Owens squaring off against Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn, and what's going to be one of the best tag team matches on SmackDown this week. There is also a terrible winter weather issue going on. I'm pretty sure you guys know that already. And WWE wants to get ahead of the problem. Now, while speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Brian Alvarez noted that WWE has already told talent to get on the road early for this week's, episode of Friday Night SmackDown. They've already been told to start going now for SmackDown, when SmackDown is, and I quote, it says on here, they were told today that you might want to get going now, end quote. That was from Wrestling Observer Radio. Guess we'll have to wait to see how the final episode of SmackDown in 2022 will turn out. The storyline with the Bloodline and Kevin Owens have been building for quite a while now. Fans are really invested in it already. Fans like myself, anyway. Needless to say, it is expected to be a memorable show. The card for this week's episode of SmackDown is Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, John Cena. Ronda Rousey will be defending her SmackDown Championship. Gonzalez. They need to change her name back to Gonzalez. That was a better last name than Rodriguez. I'll tell you that right now. Then we got Solo Sikoa versus Sheamus. She probably does have terrible opinions. She probably does have terrible opinions. I don't know what happened, guys, but my webcam just randomly cut off. I gotta plug it out and plug it back in. Hold on. I apologize for that, guys. I don't know what's going on with the webcam. It's been doing this the last, I'd say, 2 weeks. I think it's safe to say it's time for me to look into getting a new one. It might be the laptop. I don't know. It might be. But anyways, we got Soul Skull versus Sheamus at Lacey Evans' appearance. Ronda Rousey defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Raquel Rodriguez, and Roman Reigns at Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens and John Cena. That's the card for this week's episode of SmackDown. Now, Bobby Lashley made his in-ring return at a WWE live event. I got some news on him, a little bit of news on him anyway. Bobby Lashley returned to action during the WWE post-Christmas holiday show in Atlanta. Almighty got a massive pop and came to the ring to take on Omos. Lashley got the win against the Nigerian giant. Bobby Lashley was moved to WWE's alumni section after the angle on Raw. Adam Pearce later issued an apology video wherein he stated that Bobby Lashley was no longer fired, but would have still had to face repercussions for his action. MVP teased a Hurt Business reunion where he inquired about Bobby Lashley from Pearce on the December the 19th, 2022 episode of Monday Night Raw. It appears that Lashley and Pearce finally agreed on something. It remains to be seen if Bobby Lashley will return to television, should I say televised program, next week. Toxic Attraction promises to return to glory after Mandy Rose's exit. That's what they say. We'll see about that, though. We'll see. And I've already given you guys the card for NXT, so I don't have to go over the news on that again. But I do have some news on a tag team match being added to NXT New Year's Evil. Now, NXT underwent incredible changes in the wake of Triple H's takeover of WWE. I wish the black and gold brand was back right about now. The black and gold brand would have been better than the white and gold. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel like the black and gold brand as much. As the months and years go by, it should feel like the black and gold brand again soon. Developmental territory witnessed an all-new presentation under the new leadership. NXT superstars are once again set to go on their Florida loop. WWE announced that NXT will return with its live events in Florida next month. The first NXT live event for the new year will take place in Venice, Florida, on January the 6th, 2023. It says here, and I quote, January 6th, Florida. January 7th, Largo, Florida. January 20th, Pierce, Florida. January the 21st, Melbourne, Florida. February the 10th, Tampa, Florida. February the 11th, Patriots Springs, Florida. February the 24th, Jacksonville, Florida. February the 25th, Lakeland, Florida. March the 10th, Wade City, Florida. And March the 11th, St. Petersburg, Florida. End quote. WWE had already announced that they will be going back on the road for NXT Premium Live events in 2023, with Vengeance Day set to be the first NXT Premium Live event to take place outside the Performance Center since 2020. NXT will be returning to live programming next week as well. For those not in the know, they're ready to take 2 episodes of NXT on December the 15th, 2022. The episodes aired on December the 20th and 17th. What is y'all's take on this story? Let me know. So, justice for Nash Carter trends during NXT. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. So, WWE kept Wes Lee around after floundering in NXT for a while. Lee finally won his first singles title in WWE when he captured the NXT North American Championship. But the fans haven't really forgotten about Nash Carter. During Wes Lee's title defense against Tony D'Angelo on NXT, the hashtag Justice for Nash Carter started trending on Twitter. Many fans asking Triple H to rehire Carter again. Remains to be seen if this trend will help persuade Triple H to rehire, or should I say help pursue Triple H to rehire Nash Carter. However, given the allegations against him, that is unlikely going to happen. What's y'all's take on this story? Let me know. Now, we got some Sasha Banks news to go over. Now, WWE accidentally advertised the Sasha Banks for Life event. The live event took place at Atlanta's State Farm Arena. Apparently, featured an advertisement for a program that fans could buy at their shop stand. The program also seemingly advertised Sasha Banks in its top left corner. This was all revealed by a fan who lived near the area, as he took to Twitter to point out the mistake. He then later added that the photo shown on the program was an old one. Therefore, it was likely just a mistake by WWE for not removing the photo beforehand, rather than a sign of Banks returning to the company. It says here, and I quote, "They just advertised a WWE program you can buy at the WWE shop stand. The program has Sasha Banks in the top left corner." Before everybody freaks out, because I see the QTs, it was an old photo in the left-hand corner, so it was most likely an old program, or they just forgot to remove her. Hashtag WWE Atlanta, end quote. It was also reported that Sasha Banks is done with WWE, so fans should not hope for the boss to return anytime soon. In the meantime, she will be making her New Japan Pro Wrestling debut at Wrestle Kingdom 17 on January 4th. Only time will tell whether Banks will become a massive star in Japan. Of course she will. Of course she will, Ringside News. Do you guys think that Sasha Banks will be successful in New Japan? Do you guys think she will become the new Japan Pro Wrestling Women's Champion? I think she will. She's already a star. We've seen it in WWE, how great she is. I don't blame the Sasha Banks fans and stands in the community for missing her, man. I miss seeing Sasha Banks on WWE television too. I really do. Sasha Banks claims one of her biggest dreams came true amid New Japan Pro Wrestling debut rumors. The rumors of her New Japan Pro Wrestling debut, Sasha Banks took to Twitter and revealed that one of her biggest dreams has come true. No further elaboration was provided, but her tweet certainly implied that big things are happening. Ric Flair also believes Sasha Banks will steal the show in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I agree with Ric Flair, even though sometimes he has bad opinions, sometimes he has good opinions. I do agree with Ric Flair. I'm with Ric Flair on this one, saying that Sasha Banks will steal the show in New Japan Pro Wrestling. She will. Now, it is only a matter of waiting to see how Banks will fare in New Japan Pro Wrestling, as fans are certainly excited for her. Do you guys think Sasha Banks will be successful in Japan? Sound off in the live chat. Now, I got some news. I got a little bit of Monday Night Raw news here. Go home edition of Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania 39 is almost a sellout. Now, the Go Home Show Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania 39 next year will be taking place on March the 27th, 2023, at the Footprint Center, Phoenix, Arizona. Naturally, fans are always very excited about the episode. They are, as it will set up the show of shows the following month. According to WrestleTix's Patreon, the Go Home Show edition of Monday Night Raw has sold 5,325 tickets out of a total of 6,168 tickets. So far, the show only has 743 left to sell. Therefore, the show is almost a sellout already. It says here, and I quote from WrestleTix, Go Home Raw before Mania is damn near sold out WWE Raw. End quote. It was added that this is the same venue as the Go Home Show for SummerSlam in 2021. Money in the Bank in 2022, WWE is also discussing multiple WrestleMania 39 ideas for top talent. Regardless, we'll have to wait and see how WWE will book every episode of Raw ahead of WrestleMania 39. Are you guys hyped and incredibly just utterly happy for WrestleMania 39? Are you excited about this pay-per-view? Are you excited for night 1 and night 2? Which nights do you think it's going to deliver more? You think WrestleMania 39 night 1 is going to deliver more, or do you think WrestleMania 39 night 2 is going to deliver more? Let me know. Now, that's going to do it for your WWE Wednesday night news. I only have a little bit of AEW Wednesday night news, and that is on MJF and AEW Rampage, and that's pretty much it. We're going to start, perhaps, with the news on MJF. So, there's some news on his current status for AEW Dynamite this week, which will be tonight. Sean Ross Sapp recently reported behind Fightful's paywall that MJF is set to appear at this week's AEW Dynamite. He did not indicate how much involvement the Salt of the Earth will have during this week's show. MJF is scheduled to be at this week's AEW Dynamite. End quote. That was from Fightful. Sean Ross Sapp. MJF recently made his first successful title defense against Ricky Starks at AEW Winter is Coming 2022. He is currently involved in a rivalry with Bryan Danielson, which could lead to a high-stakes championship bout between the Devil and the American Dragon. That is going to be one of the greatest matches in AEW history. I'm telling you right now. Are you guys excited to see MJF and AEW Dynamite this week? And your last AEW Wednesday night news we have is on Rampage. It's on the Rampage viewership from last week's episode of AEW Rampage. So, AEW Rampage sees viewership boost with Christmas week episode. And it's not clear why. But it says here that AEW Rampage's December the 23rd episode brought in 566,000 viewers with a .18 in the 18-49 demographic. December the 16th episode of AEW Rampage pulled a fast national viewership number of 447,000 with a 185K in the 18-49 demographic. The overall viewership is down 22% from last year's November. So that is the viewership for this week's Rampage, and the other viewership I just went over was for last week's viewership for Rampage, I believe. Well, folks, that's it. I'm getting the heck out of here. You guys enjoyed the NXT review? Hit the thumbs up if you enjoy me giving you guys your AEW Wednesday night news. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's get the likes up on the stream because I don't see any likes right now, and that's not making me any happier. Come on, man. You guys are better than that. Come on. Let's get some likes in here. Let's get some comments in here, too, after when the stream ends. And we are officially at 530. I really appreciate the new subscriber for subscribing. Hopefully you enjoyed the content I have on here. Speaking of content, if you guys missed all the other content I have on the channel from last week, my Monday Night Raw review from last week, NXT review from last week. Well, I didn't review NXT last week because last week's episode of NXT sucked. Last week's episode of Monday Night Raw, my Monday Night Raw review was last week. SmackDown Rampage reviews last week, and my AEW Dynamite reviews last week. So if you missed those reviews from last week, go check them out. We got a lot of Dragon Ball content that we'll be streaming this weekend. And I've got some games that I'll be announcing. I got some new game announcements, so I'll be announcing the games, all the games that I'll officially be buying going into 2023 this weekend for the PS4. I've officially downloaded most of the Dragon Ball games on the Chromebook. One of them we're going to stream tonight after Dynamite goes off the air. I want to show you guys this game so bad. If Restream lets me stream the game on their website. Now, we got a Dragon Ball game that we'll be streaming before we stream Star Wars Racer this Sunday afternoon. Or Sunday evening, should I say. But anyways, guys, I got a lot of brand new content coming to the channel coming into 2023. It's going to be great. We're going to have a good time, man. It really is. And I may even have a new laptop by then. Hopefully I have a gaming laptop by the time 2023 gets here. To where I can start downloading OBS, to where I can start fucking essentially start downloading most of the Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3 ISOs. I want to be able to download the Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3 ISOs because I want to start streaming and showcasing all the mods that were made by all the Dragon Ball creators, man. All the mod creators that makes mods for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and Budokai Tenkaichi 3 and 2. So, I'm getting the heck out of here, guys. Hope to see you on the line chat for my AEW Dynamite watch along, because that's coming up next here on the IW and YouTube channel. It'll be live here in a little bit. I gotta get started with the thumbnail real fast. I gotta do the background real fast. So, peace. Hope to see you guys in the line chat for Dynamite, man. I'm out of here.